Student, this is the second part of the lesson, outcome of the democracy. So here we'll start it with the economic growth and development. Economic growth and development, and obviously we are studying with considering democracy. So here in democracies, if the democracies are expected to produce good government, if the democracies are expected to produce good government, then it is not fair to expect that they would also produce development. मीन्स डेमोक्रेसी यदि में हम यदि गुड गवर्नमेंट एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं तो उसके साथ साथ हम एक्सपेक्ट ही करना चाहिए ऐसा नहीं है क्या? दैट इज डेवलपमेंट. Evidence shows that in practice many democracies did not fulfill this expectation. Means evidences or through the observation or practices in democracies, it is not true that development taken place in only democracy. So if you consider all the democracies and all dictatorships for the 50 years of the 1950 to 2000, dictatorship have slightly higher rate of economic growth. Means this is the observation of the 50 years from 1950 to 2000. So in democracy, comparing to the dictatorship, means dictator have slightly higher rate of economic growth comparing to the democracy. Then inability of democracy to achieve higher economic development, inability of democracy, this is the inability of democracy because slightly rate of development is higher in dictator comparing to the democracy. So the inability of democracy to achieve higher economic development worries us. But this alone cannot be the reason to reject the democracy. लेकिन यही खाली रीजन नहीं हो सकता to ignore the democracy. As you have already studied in the economics, then economic development depend on several factors. Means economic development, it is not only dependent upon the type of government, whether it is dictator or whether it is democracy or monarchy, but development of the country depends upon the several other factor, and which these are, that is country's population size. Country's population size also makes the matter for the development, because western countries, they are less populated, but because of less populated, they have these countries, European countries, developed countries are there, but it is not completely 100% true, because if you take the example of China, their population is much more than us. Our rank is second and China's rank is related to the population, it is first, but still economic growth taken place. We also studied this in the economics, that the utilization of the human resource, they use human resource properly for the development. Means large population is not the liability for them, but that becomes their asset. Then another things or another factors, that is global situation. as you know, now the global situation is very problematic, economic, because of the pandemic. Almost most of the countries' economy that is came down, means it also depends upon the global situation. Development is depend upon the global situation, or this is one of the factor for the development, responsible for the development. Then cooperation from the other countries, this is also one of the important factor for the trading purpose, for getting the assistance or aid for development. So it depends upon how countries relation is with the other developed countries. As you know, Pakistan's relation with the other countries, developed countries, it is not much harmonious. And comparing to the India's relation with the other European countries, especially USA, they are good, or with the developed country they are good, and that is why India gets the cooperation from the other developed countries. So this is also one of the factor for development, that is cooperation from the other countries. Then economic priorities, this is also important, that where you have to give the priority related to the development or economic priority adopted by the country. Means all these things makes the matter for the development. It is not only consider the type of government. So however, the differences in the rate of economic development between less developed countries with the dictatorship and democracies is negligible. Is whatever slightly growth is higher in the in the dictator, but it is negligible. There is no much difference in the growth. Then overall, we cannot say that democracy is guarantee of the economic development. तो हम ये नहीं कह सकते कि डेमोक्रेसी जो है वो डेमोक्रेसी में डेवलपमेंट नहीं हो सकते. वी कांट गिव द अश्योर. टोटली इट डिपेंड्स अपॉन द विल ऑफ रूलर, will of the government. But we can expect democracy not to lag behind dictatorship in this respect. Lag means पीछे रहना. So we can expect the democracy not to lag behind the dictator. मीन्स हम एक डेमोक्रेसी से एक एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं कि डेमोक्रेसी जो है वो डिक्टेटर के पीछे नहीं रहना चाहिए. मीन्स इकोनॉमिक सेंस. देन when we find such a significant differences, when we find such a significant differences in the rate of economic growth between the countries under dictatorship and democracies, it is better to prefer democracy as it has several other positive outcomes. So, economic growth, it is slightly higher in the dictator comparing to democracy. But we expect that in democracy, countries should not be lag behind the dictator. So here differences, we find such a significant difference in the rate of economic growth between the countries under dictator and democracy. So it is better to prefer the democracy. Means हम क्या प्रिफर करेंगे या वी एक्सपेक्ट हम क्या करेंगे? डेमोक्रेसी इज बेटर. It has several other positive outcomes also. Other positive outcomes are there in the dictatorship. Okay. Then this is the picture showing here cartoon related to the economic growth and income distribution gain. Here example it is given of the 2006. So in this figure or in this cartoon, three parts are there. Upper part, apex, that is of the rich people, then middle one, and last at the bottom they are poor. It is the cartoon related to the economic growth and income distribution gains. So rich people, middle people, and poor people. So how the income it is distributed among these three class, that discussion is given here. So here growth in the higher dictators. So 20% population here, they are rich. Rich people's percentage, that is 20%. Then 80% people, they are 60% people, they are in the middle, and 20% people, population 20%, they are at the bottom. Their consumption is only 3%. 20% population which is at the bottom, their consumption is only 20. Their population is 20 and consumption only 3% national income consumption. And if we talk about the 60% middle, their national income consumption, that is 37%. And if we talk about the rich people whose population is 20, their national income consumption, it is 60%. Means here population divide, upper, that is 20%, middle, that is 60%, and lower population, lower class, the bottom 20%. And their national income consumption, it is also like that 20% people rich, those who are on the upper side, they are rich, and they consumption of their national income 60, and middle, that is 37%, their national income consumption, and 3% only national income consumption, that is 20% people, those who are at the bottom and poor. Then come to the next page, 97. Come to the next page, 97. Economic outcomes of the democracy. Economic outcome of the democracy. Argument about the democracy tend to be very passionate. Passionate means showing strong feeling. So argument about the democracy tend to be very passionate, or it is having strong feeling. This is how it should be. For democracy appeal to some of our deep values. These debates cannot be resolved in the simple manner. But some debates about the democracy can and should be resolved by performing to some facts and figures. The debate about economic outcome of the democracy is one such a debate. It is one such a debate. Over the year, many students of the democracy have gathered careful evidence to see what the relationship of democracy with the economic growth and economic inequalities. Debate subject of debate is what? That is relationship. Careful evidences to see what the relationship of democracy with the economic growth and economic inequalities. The table and the cartoon here present some evidences just we have discussed in the previous page, that is table 1. What it shows? Table 1, it shows that table 1 shows that on an average dictatorial regime have had slightly better record of economic growth. This thing we have seen in dictator regime or dictator countries where the form of government is dictatorship. There's growth, economic growth, it is slightly better. But when we compare their record only in the poor countries, when we compare their record only in the poor countries, there is virtually no difference. So if we compare this with the democracies, with their record, only poor countries, there is virtually no difference. Means national income that is divided 20%, 60%, and among the 20% people, 60% people actual, and very negligible contribution for the consumption is of the bottom level people. They are 20% in population. Then table 2 shows that within the democracies, there can be very high degree of inequalities. Table 2 shows what? That within the democracy, there can be very high degree of inequalities. In India also, it found inequalities. In rich people, they are 20%, and other people, they are 80. Those who are medium class people and poor people. In democratic countries like the South Africa, Brazil, the top 20% people take away more than 60% of the national income, leaving less than the 3% of the for the bottom. Means bottom level people whose percentage is 20%, their consumption, national income consumption, it is only negligible. That is 3%, just we have discussed. And middle class people whose population is 60%, they consume the national income, which is also less, that is 37%. So here more than 60% of the national income. Means again, see, I am again repeating, the top 20% people, top 20% people take away more than 60% of national income. Means जो rich people at above or top people 20% their population, they use 60% of the national income, leaving less than 3% for the bottom, or बहुत ही negligible, only 3% consumption, national income's consumption, the rest with the bottom people whose percentage of population is 20. And then countries like Denmark, Hungary are much better in the respect. Then you can see in the cartoon there is often inequalities of the opportunities available to the poorer section. Just we have discussed how many percentage of people they consume the national income. So maximum national income that is utilized only 20% people, those who are top or rich. Just we have seen. So here, what would be your verdict of democracy if you had to base it purely on democratic performance of the democratic regime in terms of the growth and equal distribution? So here given chart, so here in the table 1, first column, rate of the economic growth for the different countries in the year 1950 to 2000, type of regime and the countries, and another column shows growth rate. So all democratic regimes, first type is all democratic regime, their growth rate is 3.95. Their growth rate is what? 3.95. It is related to the all democratic regime or all democratic countries. Second, all dictator regimes. All dictator regime. Their growth rate is slightly more comparing to the dictator, and that is 4.42. And in another column, पुअर कंट्रीज अंडर द डिक्टेटरशिप, जो कंट्रीज पुअर है लेकिन वहाँ कौन सा गवर्नमेंट है? डिक्टेटर. सो देयर इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ इज 4.34. एंड लास्ट कॉलम दैट इज पीपल, पुअर कंट्रीज अंडर द डेमोक्रेसी, मीन्स पुअर कंट्री भी है और डेमोक्रेसी है, तो वहाँ का ग्रोथ रेट क्या है? 3.28%. Means there is no much difference between the four categories of the regimes and country. Divide means all democratic regime, then all dictator regime we have discussed, and poor countries under dictator and poor country under democracy. So within this, poor countries in dictator and poor countries under the democracy, there is no much difference, that is only 4.34 and 4.28. This is the negligible difference. And even all democratic regime and all dictatorial regime, there is no much difference of the growth rate. That is for the democratic regime it is 3.95, and all dictator regime that is growth rate 4.42. So all this about the table number 1. Then come to the table number 2. What it is showing here? Inequalities of income in the selected countries. Some selected countries examples are given, and then in another column given percentage share of the national income about the top 20 people and bottom 20 people. Means top 20 they are very rich and bottom 20 they are very poor. So how much share is there in the percentage of their national income, means consumption in this country? So this is the South Africa. In South Africa, top 20 people percentage, their national income share, percentage of the national income share of the South Africa of 20 top people, 20% top level people, that is 64.8, and bottom 20% people, those who are poor, their percentage is very less, that is 2.9. It is the example of South Africa. Then next example is given here of the Brazil. Then national income share, percentage share of the national income, the Brazil of 20% top people means rich, they are 63 percentage, and in bottom level only 2.6%. See how wide differences are there, 63, and in about the bottom level 20% people, their percentage in or contribution in national income or consumption, that is only 2.6. And if we take the example of Russia, so their percentage share of national income, top 20% people, that is 53.7, and bottom 20% percentage in national income, that is 4.4 only. It is about the Russia. Then come to the USA. USA, top 20% people, rich people, their share of national income 50, and bottom 20% people's share of national income only 4%. Then take the example of United Kingdom. Share of the top 20 only, that is much more, 45%, and bottom 20 their share is only 6. Then come to the Denmark. Their percentage share national income, it is 34.5, and bottom, that is 9.6. Then come to the Hungary. 20% top people, their national income share 34.4 only, 4, and bottom 20% people's consumption or national share of the national income, that is 10%. So this is the table 2. We have seen identify of the income in the selected countries, that is name of the countries and share of the national income. Division between top 20 and bottom 20 means rich and poor, their percentage in the national income or share of the national income. So this is on the page number 94. We have seen in this both this chart. Then come to the page number 94, economic outcomes of the reduction. Next page, reduction of inequalities and poverty. Reduction of inequalities and poverty. People, see here, reduction of the inequalities and property. Perhaps more than development, it is reasonable to expect democracies. It is reasonable to expect from the democracy to reduce the economic disparities. Means it is the expectation from the democracy. What is expectation? To reduce the economic disparities or differences in democracies. Even when a country achieve economic growth, will wealth be distributed in such a way that all citizens of the country will have a share. Citizens of the country will have a share and lead a better life. is economic, another question, is economic growth in the democracy accompanied by the increase inequalities among the people, or do democracies lead to a just distribution of goods and opportunities? So these are the question, and what is the expect in the of the democracy for economic growth. Then democracies are based on the political equality. Democracy are based on the political equality. All individuals have equal weight in electing a representative. See, I am again telling you, all individuals, they have equal weightage, it is equal in electing representative, means there is same value of their vote. There is no disparities getting the value to rich in election voting, rich people and low people, or middle class or poor people. Their voting value, one person, one value, one vote, one value. There should not be inequalities. Then a small number of the ultra rich enjoy a highly disproportionate share of wealth and income. Just we have seen on the table 2. Table 2 we have seen, even in previous page 93, through that cartoon we have discussed. What we have discussed here, a small number of ultra rich enjoy highly disproportionate share of the wealth and income. Not only that, their share in the total income of the country, that has been increasing. Their share, it has been increasing. Those at the bottom of the society, those who are living at the bottom of society, have very little to depend upon. Their income have been declining. Sometimes they find it difficult. To meet their basic needs of life. Means those who are poor people at the bottom level, they are unable to fulfill even though their basic needs. Means inequality is there for the income and consumption, because consumption, national income share, all this depend upon the income of the people. So their bottom 20% people, their income is also less, and their consumption or their contribution in national income, that is also less. This is the observation in different countries. Compare this, such as food, means they can't fulfill their even basic needs. Which are these? That is food, clothing, house, education and health. All these are not available because these are the basic needs of the people, and they are not accessible to them because of the less or because of the poverty. Then come to the next. In actual life, democracies do not appear to be very successful in reducing economic inequalities. So in actual life, what is fact or reality? Democracies do not appear to be very successful through our observation or through the practice in reducing income or reducing economic inequalities. in class 9th economics textbooks, you have already studied about the poverty in India. The poor constitute a large proportion of our voters, and no party like to lose their voters. See, I am repeating again. The poor constitute a large proportion of our voters. Means poor people, they are much more. Those who are voter, their quantity of population, they are much more comparing to the rich people. Means their voting value or their percentage of voting, it is much more as per their population, and no party will like to lose their voters. So this is the political related to the political. No one ignore, especially at the time of election, generally contesting candidates belonging to different party or independent. So they focus on their quantity or vote bank, because poor people's vote bank is much more. So no one like to ignore the sentiments of the poor, not only for getting the much sentiments attached with them, but candidates interested for the getting vote from their vote banks, especially poor people, those who are at the bottom. Even though middle, their percentage of the population is much more. Yet, democratically elected government do not appear to be as keen to address the question of poverty. Question of poverty as you would expect them to. See, again I am telling, democratically elected government, whatever democratic governments are there, elected governments are there, they do not appear to be as a keen address the questions of poverty. Means though the democratically elected government is there, it means the that is elected by the people, but this government, democratically elected government, appear to be keen to address the question of poverty as you would expect them to. Means it is the expectation of poor people while casting the or giving vote from this poor people's vote bank. So their expectation is that their situation has to be changed. Growth would be there for in place of this. The situation is much worse in some other countries. So in Bangladesh, more than half of the population lies in the poverty. See how disparities is there in the Bangladesh. More than 50% they are living in the poverty. And peoples are several poor countries are now dependent on the rich countries even for the food and supply. So here we are going to end this